welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League Season 11, Week 7. My name's Nightfire with 2 E's. I'm joined by my co-caster Monarchid and Mono. How are you feeling today for this matchup?
I'm feeling really hyped, Nightfire. This should be a great one.
Oh yeah.
These two teams are very, very good. Kind of different play styles as well. So we're going to see these two different play styles go up against one another in this matchup. So just super, super excited.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about what the matchup is. It's going to be Ember versus Air 404, and these teams high up in the NA rankings. I have to do a quick refresher of the memory here on where exactly it is. It is ranked 2 versus ranked 3 NA. So this is essentially exactly what we saw. It's going to be I would say as intense as the EU matchup was this afternoon. And I don't know if you tuned into that, Mono, but that was an excellent matchup between Boss Fight and Velocity, who are rank 1 and rank 3 EU. And so I think we're going to get something similar here with Ember Air 404. But I think it's going to be a little bit more explosive. To your point, with how these teams play, I think with where we're going to be going for our first map, this is going to be really interesting.
I would totally have to agree with you there. Both of these teams just, when they're on a roll, they just go down like a wrecking ball. And
yep.
I mean, I don't know. Ember's been around for so long. They're really good at the game. They know how to play their strategies well, and they work so well as a team. Arrow 404 coming out of nowhere like a meteor.
Yeah.
Just this brand new team of new people coming in and just showing the world what they can do. What a team of motivated players can accomplish if they put their mind to it, and they've really shaken up the meta. Let's just say that.
Yeah, they've thrown a couple of teams for a bit of a loop here, and I'm curious to see how they'll do against Ember, a squad that's been around just as long as any other team in the top 10, and so very much excited for this matchup. We got to take a look at our pick bans. For those that maybe are unfamiliar with how things work here, the home team gets to pick the first ban, the away team picks the second ban, the home team then picks the first map. The away team picks the second map, the home team picks the third. So Ember has decided to ban Downfall. That means that map cannot be played in this series. Cargo is also off of the table. And so it leaves us with a lot of interesting maps available. Still 2 of the custom maps available, which I'm always excited about because I always love to see custom maps get played. And we don't have to wait around to see what one of these custom maps. We're going to go into Sand for map number 1. And I mean, Mono, Sand's real. If you want to kick off this series with basically the most explosive action you could, I feel like Sand's the best place to do it.
I think there's no question to that, Nightfire. This is the most explosive map of all the explosive maps, bar none. I think this map is a great pick for Ember. It plays exactly into their play style. They know exactly how to play, how to go, where to go, who to shoot, when to shoot, and they do it in such... they have such tempo in their movement and how they do things. It's just... I think Arrow 404 is for a big fight. Let's say that.
I'm looking at records here. Wow, they beat... I didn't know. I guess I didn't catch this game. They beat Mayhem 12-3. They're undefeated. Air 404 has not lost a game yet. And we just watched Boss Fight play earlier today in EU. They are also undefeated. So, I mean, we're delivering the best of the best, basically, to the Venues platform. And obviously to everyone on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We appreciate everyone tuning in today. We are getting into the action, Mono. Round number 1 is kicking off. Ember on offense, Error 404 on defense. Let's see what they can do. Whew.
This is a pretty scary objective to start with, too. Hard one to defend. A lot of areas that the defenders are going to have to worry about. One quick flank from the attackers, and you could be capped on.
No, already one going down. Badger was getting up for an aggressive defensive position, and Soju just takes him down, instantly ready for it, waiting on this 2-story, and that's going to be a tough way for Air 4 to kick things off. We got to keep an eye on ICY19. Look at him. He's managed to get in between this offense.
Whoa, Hailfire just narrowly missing getting shot at by Icy. They're now coming around the corner. Oh, man, and what a refrag right immediately by Switch.
Yeah, really good reactions from Switch, and the whole team's going
But
down.
there's
The
no time for
pad's out.
that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we don't even get time to look at it because the pad was out there. Cup denies it. Void's dead on the wall. He is resable, so Cup could get this res. 2 are up now, and instantly as soon as he rotates, Switch and Rob find it. Ember are on the hunt here on this offensive round as Soju begins his push, and Cup has a huge task ahead of him. He's got to keep his head on a swivel. And he's got to survive a barrage of offense, which he cannot do. Ember, I mean, this is what this is going to be on sand. Very fast action, fast kills. Already, we've got a round done.
Yeah, you should expect that back-to-back on this map. Not to say that those late-game rotations can come out.
Sure.
When everyone's just about dead, there's a defender or 2 left, and you got some room to start flanking around a bit, but by and large, this map generally goes just like this. You see these defenders just trying to hold on as Ember just pushes forward. They're so aggressive, able to pull those shots, and just we were looking at the fight in the middle on the top of the middle building, and in that time zone, they were almost capping.
Yeah,
that's just what it comes down to. You cannot forget about the objective. Arrow 404 thankfully did not do that, though. They did defend the objective from a cap situation. But they just got hemmed in by Ember, who was able to just watch those lines, wait for those defensive rotations, and catch them as they're just trying to defend the objective. It's just such a hard one, especially this objective, to defend and not be having to worry about your flanks.
Yeah, and I mean, let's think about everything we saw there. An aggressive Error 404 defense, right? After experiencing that, after pushing out instantly and losing one, and then also getting instantly refragged on the roof, do you think Error 404 processes that information and goes, okay, maybe we can't afford as aggressive a push or on defense as we were initially anticipating, and are going to back up a little bit when we get into the next defensive round for them? I don't know. Curious to see if they'll be able to adapt, because that's what I think it's going to take to beat this Ember team. But hey, they're undefeated, so who am I to talk? I'm sure they're going to be able to adapt to the situation as we get into our next round.
We'll have to see. Hailfire going into pretty much the same place, going right on top of the roof. A lot of the Arrow 404 right below him. 4 players. Everyone should have been hearing the footsteps of one another, and everyone just has to be wondering, where are they right now?
I don't know if they heard Hailfire. ICY is trying to check it, but if he... Icy is trying to check it, but he doesn't spot Hailfire, and Hailfire being tucked in enough avoids that check through the door and gets himself a kill. Then he goes on the hunt with a bit of rotating on the roof, really giving away his position to the 3 that are underneath him.
Definitely a lot to think about here. The offense will be aware of Hailfire's position with that gunfire going right above him. Gonna have to wonder, what is he gonna do? And what he's gonna do is get another pick. He's in a great position to just continue harrying these attackers as they're just worrying about this huge skylight right above him.
Oh my gosh, and he's just going to continue to harass. He's on a rotation now, and he confirms it right in front of Void. Void's not even checking the doorway, throws a flash out. No, it's a nade, so that's going to be a late detonation, and Hailfire is going to be up the ramp before it goes off. Safe and sound, confirmed his kill. Badger trades. Error 404 are down to 2 in a 2v4. It's not exactly an ideal situation right now.
Absolutely not. Hailfire jumping down, able to get that pass pick up onto Badger in a gunfight with It's Not Void, who's just struggling to stay alive here, trying to reposition, but Hailfire coming right up behind him, narrowly catching him there on that rotation, but Not Void able to get an excellent pickup back onto Hailfire, just stopping that aggression cold.
Yeah, almost like bullying, really. I mean, Void getting harassed by Hailfire, and in all that commotion, we got to direct some attention to Cup, because maybe he can find an opportunity. Granted, Soju and Rob dialed into this entryway, so he's going to have to challenge 2, but there is potential for Cup to do some damage on the backside. So maybe there's a path for Void and Cup to sort of sync up here, but not sure. So far, Ember are feeling confident in this series, Mono. They are really looking good right now.
Yep. This is definitely a great map for Ember, but never count Arrow 404 out. They do really, really well when they have a lot of adversity stacked up against them. And ST Cup, man, if he goes through that doorway, I think he's in for a rude surprise. Two lasers pointing right at his
Yeah.
position.
Not going to be an easy challenge. A smoke would go a long way here to deny the vision, but he's going to go for it. He's going to peek the tight angle that Rob is dialed in onto. Down he goes, and it is all up to Void. Quokka's on the ramp, ready to harass and ready to dive down onto Void as soon as Void tries to push out from this basement position that he's in. And again, the 1v4 is not an easy thing to overcome, especially when you're going up against a team like Ember, who right now are looking very in sync.
You can just tell how strong this center building is. Not Void basically couldn't help out with that push whatsoever, as he's so worried about someone shooting him from the roof there. And for good reason. I mean, Hailfire did an excellent job earlier in the round, and now Quokka being so close by is causing a lot of problems for him. And, you know, he's just kind of like frozen in place. He's unable to move.
Yeah, and, you know, when you have all this time, it does allow this sort of mental processing to get to occur. So Void's really just trying to think his way through this one. What's my path? Where do I go? Trying to gather the information audio as well, listening to the footsteps from Quokka and from Switch, really trying to understand where the defense is right now. Maybe waiting for an over-eager rotation like Quokka has done from time to time there up on the roof, but still, it's going to take a series of picks. I think the best route, truly, is to go all the way back around and then rotate to challenge Soju. He has this path that nobody's watching. Switch, Quokka, none of them have eyes on. And if he could get into Soju's building, it's going to be his best chance at challenging. I think that's what he's thinking, too.
Very well could be, but not much time left. He's really got to do quite a lot with a very small amount of time left, and it's going to be some really tight angles, tight shots once you take out Soju to get back towards the objective and take out the remaining defenders here. As Cap would be a really, really hard pickup on this one, but it has been done before.
Gonna opt to try and get control of the roof, and this is tough to get control of simply because of all the different angles you can get picked from. Switch has a line that he can take. He can shoot out the ankles from underneath the barrier there, and so it's not exactly a safe route to be going. Maybe he could pick up Switch, to be honest, if he's watching for it, but Quokka, patiently waiting on the ramp, springs up and gets his kill. 4 left alive from Ember, doing quick work, that Error 404 offense, and taking a 2-0 lead.
Very much so, but this new objective that we're going to run into here, Arrow 404, I think we'll have a better chance of. It's a little bit more systematic, a little bit more opportunities for those tight lines of defense that we've seen from Arrow 404 in the past, and some good sneaky spots as well for those players that they have that like to get some ambushes in, like IC-19. So we're going to have to just wait and see what they choose to do there. That last round, though, that last objective, a very, very tough one to defend in. You can just see how well Ember does on those objectives where they can work together as a team, get those quick angles, and create a lot of distraction for the attackers by kind of being a bit more of an offensive element in Hailfire and Quokka, position that we've seen those two players take time and time again in previous matches. And again, just here doing very, very well for themselves, shooting through that skylight up on the roof there and creating a lot of distraction and just harrying and stopping that movement through the center building.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the KDs here now coming in from Ember's side. I mean, Error 404 has at least put up a couple of kills. I think that's the most important thing, is they have at least been able to get some targets down. I think if it was really an overwhelming victory from Ember, I would be a little bit more concerned, but maybe just a tough objective for the likes of Error 404. I imagine that they'll refocus here. They've taken that full minute and a half before the rounds start, and now they get an opportunity to bounce back just a touch. This objective is crazy. With this spawn, the choices of Error 404 could really get aggressive if they wanted to and be right on top of this offense, but again, I imagine that they're going to play a little bit tighter around objective after being punished for getting over aggressive last round on defense.
We're just going to wait and see here, but we already have 2 on the center building. Icy able to get a pickup on Switch just right off the bat there. Badger in a great place to support Icy for any players that do choose to come up and challenge them on the center building. In Hailfire and maybe Quokka here as they both come around the building there. Utility being thrown, Flash thrown, but not in the right place to catch Icy there. Quokka gonna have to do a lot here as he's in quite a tight space.
Yeah, Quokka was gonna challenge there, but he spotted Icy off of the flash. Icy was blind, so he doesn't see Quokka, and then Quokka swings for the rotation. A great read from him to get the pick. The question is the refrag gonna come through, or is Badger gonna play this one patiently? And the reason being is he could get a couple of kills there. Finds one, Quokka dives off, and gee, I mean, this Ember team is tough to track. They are all over the place.
You're not wrong there, and it was pretty interesting actually. Quokka actually had an opening to objective. If he was able to get under SD Cup with a little bit of distraction, the objective would have been open. Badger now in position to kind of cut that off there, but confrontation between Quokka and Badger coming to fruition here. Badger able to get that pick up there, sitting in his corner, waiting patiently for that movement from Quokka did pay off.
Solid job from Badger there. A great hold, and Error 404 are bouncing back. So far, a great job of denying what was a pretty aggressive Ember offense. They were right up on objective. Like you said, really several opportunities to sprint inside objective building and go for a cap, but ultimately not executing on it, not diving in for it. And now it's going to come down to Soju and Rob in a 2v4, and Soju doesn't look like he has a safe exit here. You can see the laser from Cup dialed in. It's going to be a tough job for him to push out.
Actually, on the backside, he should be able to come around this corner. It will be a neutral angle between Cobra and Rob, and you can see Rob kind of scanning around this corner. A quick peek from Cobra would be very, very good here. Would be able to catch Rob as he moves across the open there, and he's now running. Cobra will definitely hear his movement as he is on the other side of the box there. You can see Cobra a little concerned looking over the box there. Rob definitely not aware of his position, and Cobra able to get that pickup.
It's all down to Soju now, and he has to make this exit. He's got to get rid of Cup, and he can't do it. Soju goes down, and Error 404 put up a solid defensive round. 4 left alive after losing 2 quick rounds, and ultimately a great bounce back. It takes a lot to do this. You know, when you've lost those 2 rounds as heavily as they did, it was looking bad. But to regroup, regroup themselves here on this fresh objective and defend strongly like that. I mean, hey, this is rank 2 versus rank 3. This should be a close series. I don't think Ember is going to have an easy one here.
Absolutely not. That first objective definitely played to the strengths of Ember, able to use the chaos and use that kind of weak defensive position that first objective had to really create a lot of problems for Error. But coming forward here to these newer objectives where you can have a little bit more of these tight angles, a little bit more cohesive of a defense, Error 404 is showing their strength here and really creating a good fight for Ember on this map.
Yeah, truly a exciting back and forth, and again, very action-packed. This is what Sand delivers to you. It is fast and furious, and not a lot of time between rounds here as Ember want to get into the action. Curious how they're going to defend this one, and already I'm seeing Quokka and Rob getting ready to challenge out this doorway. This could be a bit of a wild start to this one.
Quokka probably going to create some damage, but we'll just have to see what he can do. Running right at him.
Yeah, he's gonna go
Good
for
run
it.
Into Badger here.
Perfect.
Good pickup from Quokka, getting Badger as he came around the corner there. What will he do now, though? It's a tough decision. Does he want to continue his flank or pull back?
Yeah, I mean, truly the job's done. He's got his pick. That's enough. They've got the advantage. Tuck back in. No need to get overextending and look for more. And I think maybe he'll just sit there and defend. Hailfire is rotating in the bottom floor here. And so, yeah, a great job there to shut down one. And I don't know if it's impacted the push from Error 404 significantly because Cup and Cobra are going to have an easy time with their swing. Icy not really being challenged either. And Yeah, I don't know. I think so far, relatively unscathed from Error 404, it seems.
Definitely so. I think the main part of Error 404's attack is actually over here on the west. But no time for that is Icy able to pick up Quokka and bringing this back to a 4-4.
Really great awareness there from Icy to shut him down. Quokka was getting a little bit extra there, trying to get some kills, trying to get the flank onto Icy, and it would have paid dividends. It would have been Icy and then Void next up. So fortunate enough that Icy reacts to those footsteps that he hears and gets the kill. Smoke is readjusted up to the corner and not really drawing any attention. Soju's not checking back here just yet, and that smoke is going to shut down that line anyway. This is looking like a decent push here from Error 404.
-1,
It's not Void able to pick up Soju there. A very tight pickup. I think going up and over that stairway there kind of gave Soju's position away over the top of the smoke. But they've got a lot to deal with here, and one of those things is going to be Hailfire coming from the rear here. A big flank from him coming through the backside. If he plays his card right, he should be able to pick up two.
He should, but he's slowed down, and if he slows down too much, he's going to miss the opportunity. Void and Icy are pushing forward. They're not waiting around for this smoke to dissipate, and well, as I say that, Void almost gets picked up, drops back and tucks in. Fortunate enough that Hailfire doesn't land those early shots. Well, second time's the charm,
a lot
though.
going on.
Yeah. Still, though, the defense alive. Rob there has eyes on Hailfire, able to challenge the backside. The offense not charging in yet, and Rob feeling the pressure decides to rotate over towards objective side. He goes down. Hailfire now has to panic rotate as well, and Icy should find an easy kill. Oh, and that's not Icy, it's going to be Cup. Error 404 do a great job of forcing rotations out of Ember, getting kills, and really denying the aggression from Ember. Like I said, it's going to be a matter of if Error 404 can adjust to the delay that they're adjust to that quick pace that Ember put out, and it truly seems like they've done that so far, at least, to tie this up 2-2. I gotta wonder what this next objective holds. I mean, this one is certainly an interesting one with that wall separating the teams out of spawn. I'm curious to see what the defensive setup here is from both sides, because we've seen aggression on defense from both Ember and Error 404.
You're not wrong there. This is actually one of the most defensible, or I'd actually argue the most defensible objective locations in this map. A lot of really similar angles that you're used to in the official maps. Good defensive lines. Several areas you can come in from, but at the same time, very manageable for the defense. So I think this is going to play very well for Error 404. But that said, never count Ember out there. They do very well no matter what the objective is on these kind of CQB style maps, and I'm really excited to see how they challenge this one. Good use of utility can pay huge dividends here, and we've seen that from Ember. We've seen the smoke plays, we've seen the flashes, so we're just gonna have to see what happens.
Very energetic Error 404 team. Even at the start of the series, they were talking each other up, hyping each other up, getting the energy at a good level so that they would come in feeling confident, and it didn't seem to be going well for them out the gate, but now that they've managed to bounce things back, I'm hearing the energy pick up again from Error 404, and I gotta wonder if it's enough. Ember's a team that's not unfamiliar with having a challenge put in front of them. They certainly can go up against the likes of Error 404, and dodging the shots there is Switch as he dives across the street. Cup can't tag the cross.
Can't catch this. But that said, he made it across, but getting further into the defensive perimeter will be difficult. There is a bit of an opening there, but he does not know that. It is quite a kill box to go through those doors there, those kind of slanted doors that we see all over the level, and we'll just have to see, wait and see what he does there. Soju coming around the backside to support him, but Cobra getting a pickup onto Rob there will set the pace of the game here.
Yep, Hailfire goes down trying to cross. Cup doesn't miss twice. Finds Hailfire there. Icy getting his target. Quokka trying to make the entry, and Switch wondering what the heck happened to the rest of his team, as it's just him and Soju left on this entryway, and it's Void's turn next, who's tucked in and been waiting for this push to come through.
Going to be a tough one. They're both approaching from the same angle here. You don't have those kind of supporting lines that you would from players on the opposite side of the objective. They're just going to have to kind of brute force through this objective. But that said, it's not a terrible angle to do so. Able to kind of cut the pie here, take out Void, fight with Cobra and a little bit with Badger there. And again, utility would just be so good here. I'm just not sure they have any left there. You know, crossing that street can be difficult without it. And we saw some lives lost. As I don't think they threw any smokes, did they?
I
certainly don't remember any smokes.
I don't think I've seen really any utility coming out here from Ember on this push. Switch did toss one flash, I think, as he made his entry in, but I don't know what else has been utilized. But yeah, I can't imagine. There's got to be some. Yeah, there's a flash here that Soju could pick up in front of him. That's going to be incredibly risky to grab, as Icy is dialed in, just waiting for it.
Icy is like, please do it.
Mm-hmm.
Icy able to get that pickup on a Soju as we spoke through the doorway there, leaving just Switch to make this push alone. He's coming around the corner here, putting some shots down range, but they're going to be aware of his position. Icy able to get the pickup on him. It's not Void, just going to sit there cool and ready, letting his team support him.
Yeah, and again, another solid performance there from the Error 404 team. I mean, Icy doing great to cover a ton of different angles and ultimately reinforcing Void up over the top like that. Really well done from Error 404, and they are earning this comeback right now. I mean, they have managed to come back from what was a 2-0 deficit, and it's really, the tides have turned significantly. Ember is on the back foot now, and this undefeated Error 404 squad is looking like they very well could take Ember's map pick of all things.
I'm going to predict that we're going to go into a 3-3 situation here. I think Ember is going to mount this defense. We're going to be up against the wall here in that 3-3 situation where both of these teams are just sweating bullets, knowing that one map or one round win will make the map in their favor or will put them on the back foot in the whole series, as they do need to win 2 of these 3 series wins or map wins to win the series. Sorry.
Ooh, getting tangled up in the rounds, maps, and series terminology. But yeah, I absolutely hear you. It's a lot on the line here as we get back into the action. Quick in-between sessions, there's a 1.5-minute timer between rounds teams can take to strategize and discuss where they want to go, but these teams, true to their speedy nature that we've seen so far, are not taking any time between rounds. And I think we're going to get another very quick gunfight here as Quokka's looking for an early challenge, and he's not ready whatsoever for Icy to swing wide there.
Yeah, spent a little bit too much time looking back at the roof, trying to get that first pick before he moved into the secondary line to face Icy and not Void, but didn't work out for him this time, and that's just kind of the penalty sometimes that you pay when you do those really aggressive defensive pushes there and really put your neck out there to try and get those picks.
And again, it's a good job from Error 404 to read the aggression coming from Ember. They saw it early in the first 2 rounds, and since then, it has not worked very well against Error 404. They have been managing to shut down that over-aggressive defensive style that Ember's been throwing out there, and we'll see how long they can shut it down. They've got to do it for one more round here, but I like the setup that I'm seeing. Soju, Rob, everyone's positions aren't really standard. Hailfire in particular, not a common spot for someone to be tucked into.
It's kind of a Hailfire special. He will be sitting out in the open, but he's in a position where you would have to look back as you approach from a direction. You know, he just catches people unaware, and he actually knows that his team is going to be watching this far line, catching anybody that comes around his side, and he's just going to have to deal with the southeast approach that ST Cup is ultimately taking right now.
Yeah, I think this position could pay dividends for this Ember defense. Like you said, Cup could shut it down, but again, he's got that vision denied, so I don't know. He could really find a couple of kills here if he plays the cards right. If the defense is if the offense is synced up, if they all push at the same time, there'll be a couple of kills. Soju actually the first one to find his targets, and Hailfire doesn't have to give away his position just yet. He can sit here and patiently wait for more targets to expose themselves.
Meanwhile, up near the objective in the northeast, smokes have been deployed all over Rob's position, making it tough for him to watch his line, but watch he will. Hailfire, though, meanwhile, able to get that pickup onto SD Cup and then grabbing IC-19 all the way down the line there.
And this looks like a little bit of an out of sync error 404 push. Badger Zombie on the back. Nowhere near really ready to push up. I think he was just looking for Overwatch, but he doesn't find much as he eventually gets Hailfire, who is rotating out of that position, but still very far behind what was the rest of his team. Void basically he's pushed up here and not been able to do much since then. The smokes went out and went away, and so now you got to wonder what the plan is in this 3v2.
Definitely a tough one for these two attackers. Not Void can't really make his push without a supporting line from the likes of Badger Zom, but I mean, just trying to support him will be a risky endeavor as he faces off against Soju, who's ready for any kind of push from Badger Zombie coming through that doorway.
Yeah, and Soju has the comfortability of having his back covered by Rob, so really just a great bit of teamwork here to allow for all the angles to be held, and Zombie's going to look for the challenge, and he actually gets Rob first behind Soju. Soju was tucked in just enough where Badger couldn't see it. Soju couldn't see Badger. And now we're just in this awkward bit of communication where Void can communicate to Badger. They all know where everyone is based off of comms, but no one's doing anything about it just yet. And maybe a res can come in here from Switch. It's a risk, though.
Badger Zom, an excellent move to go around, look down the line, and try and catch any rotations for the revive that may come out. And that said, the revive does come out. Switch is revived. Soju goes down to Badger Zom. He's just doing an excellent job just looking down there and picking off these defenders as they make those rotations and get a little panicky there.
Soju went for a little bit of action there. He peeked around, didn't find much, and he's now dropping back to regroup with Badger. And I was going to say, maybe they could put something together if Switch denies that from being an opportunity, and now it's a 1v2 for Void. He's looking for Rob, almost has the angle, but can't quite see him. And with a minute 20 left, he's going to have to push soon enough.
That's definitely right here. So little time left on the clock there. Now Void weighing his options, doing a little bit of prone action here. Try to catch any of those defenders unaware, but they've all pulled back. They're all getting closer to objective as the timer ticks down here. They know that the attackers have to come to the objective, so by pulling back, they will be able to work together to thwart any attack from Not Void.
Super smart defensive play coming in from Ember. They need this point too. They cannot afford to get risky and look for picks or hunt for the kill. Just need to play their defense, play it disciplined, allow Void to come into their kill box that they can form with the two, simply because there's not a lot of angles to enter in from. And yeah, clock ticks away. 30 seconds. Void's going to hear it on his watch. The beeper going to indicate for him to push. And he is looking for Rob. He's got the right idea first up.
Rob says no, able to get that pickup and a Not Void. He was looking for those kind of sneaky pushes from Arrow 404, knowing that only 30 seconds left on the clock. They must be up to something. Able to pick that up and bring this to a 3-3. Yep, the next point will determine who wins this map and who has to be on the back foot moving forward into the next one. And what an objective too in this radio tower objective. It's a tough one. I think that the defense has a great place here. It's in this building. They have these angles on the backside that they could put defenders. You can take the middle building. I think Ember has a lot on their plate for this one. What do you think, Nightfire?
No, I think out of all the objectives, this one's probably the easiest to defend on Sand. I think most of the Sand objectives are wild in terms of how they can be pushed and where the spawns are. But this one, the closest thing you can get to something that's familiar in terms of defense. It feels a little bit like the kill box on Snow Peak in a lot of ways. There's limited entry points. It's a very tight corridor space ultimately, but there's just, I don't know, there's ways to counter a solid defense. You know, good M203 placements in these windows will get you kills because people inside those rooms will die to it. So, options for plays to be made. It's just going to come down to if Ember executes on those. And, if you're going to look at any team to execute on something like that, Ember certainly is capable of doing it. So I think Arrow 404 have to be a little bit cautious on how they set up. They don't want to stack too tight, but at the same time, why overextend on an objective that you simply don't need to? You can play this one pretty tight. There's no real need for a aggressive, pushy defense.
Definitely a lot of options available to Arrow 404 here. It almost looks like Icy's ready to go around and go for a bit of a defensive push here with the lights of Icy, or maybe they're just going to take center building. Who knows? But we're getting started here, and this is one big nail biter of a round.
Heck of a way to kick off this series. Exactly what you expect in the VRML, though. The ranking system coming into effect and really delivering some high-octane games. It's been fantastic matchups the last couple of weeks, and it's been a lot of fun to watch teams duke it out on custom maps and the old maps alike, and I really want to see where we go with the rest of this series. We're not quite there yet. We've got ourselves a heck of a round to come up here. And I'm looking at the defense. It's a little bit strange. Zombie and Icy way away from objective. And Quoko, Rob, and Switch are going to have an easy time getting right up onto it.
That said, Quoko able to pick up Icy on the roof there, just getting a little bit too much movement on the roof there, giving him that opportunity to get that pick. And that's kind of what this map's about. Those tight angles where you can cache those defenders in their spots if you just wait long enough to see those rotations. And that's what makes this map really, really tough to play.
There's the suppressive fire in to allow for Switch to push up. C4 detonated. That was nearly, I mean, honestly, almost a triple kill. Very fortunate that that doesn't detonate and down them. Cup with a great line. Catches Rob trying to peek. Switch able to get, well, up a little bit. Void's ready for it there. Down goes Switch. And so far, a good defensive setup from Error 404 on the inside. And as I say that, the externals are also doing great work. Badgers found Hailfire. He's gotten now Soju in a bit of a bind. Quokka's down. Ember dropped like flies, and Soju is suddenly in a 1v4 on map point. Error 404 feeling good here, and maybe they'll even send Zombie out on the hunt.
Very well could be. What a tough one to come into. You could even see the kind of cautious approach from Ember as they knew that everything was on the line there. And ST's Cup's position, though, just key. He's watching a nice tight angle, forcing them to go into his kill box and fight in his terms. And it worked out well for him. There's just a pile of bodies there, right where he's been watching.
It's the beauty of a good kill box and of holding a tight of the tight angles inside. You know, it's Smokes would have gone a long way. Basically, is the moral of the story. I think, how do you get through? Like, when you think of the quarantine, the Snow Peak kill box, like, how do you break through that? And Smokes, flashes, nades, those are almost always in the recipe to break through the defense. And a smoke here on that door would have completely shut down both Void and Cup's positions. It would have allowed for the flashes to come through the doors, opened up opportunities potentially for Ember, but doesn't end up going out that way. And Soju now hears Badger getting aggressive up on the roof.
Yeah, he's got a lot to deal with, and that's kind of what these outer positions that Badger, Zom, and Icy had, where they force the attackers to have to clear them and deal with them and constantly think about them until they come entirely clear their positions. And you can see here, Soju, only 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, but he has to come up here and he has to challenge Badger Zombie. Otherwise, he was going to be in for a tough time approaching the objective. But taking that pickup will help him immensely on this push. Gives him a little bit more of the momentum here to continue forward and just make these kills happen if he wants to take this map back.
I don't know about the rotation, though. He's going to go back to where all his teammates died. He's going to see a pile of bodies and nearly cut into Cup's line a bit deeper than his teammates did, which still would have resulted in his death. So he's fortunate that he instead takes the ramp and goes hunting from this perspective. An interesting angle that he can take here. Look at this. Fortunate enough that Void, yeah, I really love this one.
And these Soju right now is actually prone in real life. He's laying on the floor there, was watching that angle, but just narrowly runs into the line of ST, barely missing those shots coming for him. And now he's going to have to do yet another rotation. And there's not really much time left on the clock for these overly long rotations. So he's going to have to make a choice, make his bed and go with it if he's going to try and take on this objective with enough time left.
I just don't know how you do it. You have to... yeah, you have to like 360 these people. Yeah, he has to go in, snap turn from Cup. Oh, actually, okay, here's the path. He gets Void. The doorway blocks Cup from seeing it. Void goes down, then he turns and gets Cup, and then Cobra can go down. That's the path, but I don't know. It's going to take a lot.
You don't know that. You don't know that. He doesn't know what's going on inside this building. He's going to have to make all these decisions in split timing. He's going to have to make these snap decisions, and that's a tough one. It's a tough one for any player to make, and we're going to just have to see what Soju can do here. But against 3 players, that's a tough order for anyone.
It's really a 1v2, though. Once he makes a sentry, it's a 1v2. Void hears these footsteps, and he gets a little bit more cautious. Soju comes in. Cup goes down. Void dropping the cover. Soju's in. Void and Cobra have to swing around. Soju's got the pad out. He's going for the cap, and he can't get it. Error 404. Challenge, but nearly. And I mean, hey, that was a great little attempt there from the likes of Ember. And if I know anyone, Ember can punch a code in 2-3 seconds. They got great cappers on their team, and so that was a true threat to the game there. Ember nearly getting the round, but Error 404 just defend by the skin of their teeth. And where do we go from here? Where does Error 404 take us for map 2?
A good question. I know they're not a huge fan of Quarantine. It's a map with about 1 billion objectives, so it's a hard one to really have a lot of practice and thought into. Their favorite map, Downfall, currently banned by Ember, a great ban, but also a common one for them.
Yeah.
So, that's a tough question. That's a tough one.
I know. I'm. Sand worked for them, right? Even though Ember picked into it, the fact that it's maybe a fresher map ends up working out for Error 404. I think Shipyard is where you take yourselves here as a team. You go again to another custom map, you keep things fresh, and try and offer an even playing ground, because you're going up against Ember, who is a team that has been around for a long time. They're very familiar with the old maps. They're very familiar with the old objectives and how to defend and different strats to look for. If you go to a space where they're not, like Shipyard, it's going to be another place where Error 404 can sort of display their very good teamwork that they've really honed in on over the course of the Rookie Boot Camp tournament and now Season 11. They've been a team that's been playing consistently well. They are, again, undefeated. They beat Mayhem 13-2. I almost feel like it had to have been a fluke from Mayhem for that scoreline to come in. And Mono, I'm not going to talk much more about it with you on the horn here, but I mean, still,
Let me just swipe away the tears.
They are still, I mean, they're playing great, and it's been tough for teams to challenge them. And since I think we're remaking a lobby, I'm going to guess that's where we're going to be going, is to the custom map on Shipyard.
I don't think you're wrong there. I don't think you're wrong.
It's going to mean a little bit of a time in between rounds here, but that's just fine. You get to hang out with me and Monarchid. We do really appreciate everyone that has tuned in this afternoon. It's so much fun to put these casts on. It's something that every caster on the team enjoys immensely. It's with action like this, how could you not enjoy it, frankly? You know, it has been such a great back and forth so far today. And again, to think back to the earlier venues series that were just crazy. They were fantastic matchups to tune into. And yeah, we are going to Shipyard as anticipated. This should be exciting. Again, I love seeing the custom maps. Another thing that I like to talk about. These maps are made by people in the Onward community, in the VRML community. They are made with the intention of being played competitively, and I truly think that, from my perspective, I still play, but I'm not down there playing at a competitive level. But from watching it, it has been some of the most fun watching these custom maps. They have so many great little intricacies and ins and outs and different routes. And I mean, Amano, I can look at your thoughts on it. How do you feel about the custom maps this season?
Well, I really love to see custom maps in at all. I mean, not too long ago, we didn't have custom maps, right? And to bring these in, bring these creators in, who are just putting all this time and effort to make these wonderful maps for us to play on. And, you know, we put some, time and effort to vet them and get them in and get them up to make sure they're up to VRML standards. And then we get to put these players on them and see what they can do. And I think this map, Shipyard, is going to be an explosive one between these two teams. Arrow 404 doing really, really well for them, as we've seen. Ember, just a titan, getting in their face and just really beating people around. And I think this map has room for both of those play styles, and we're going to just have to see who comes out on top. And let me tell you, this map just has some crazy spots too. Crazy spots that these players can take. So stay tuned for that one.
It's not a small map. It's got a lot of tight quarters, but because it's not small, there's a lot of tight quarters. So there's so many different angles that can be taken, and to your point, a lot of different crazy spots. Very interesting to watch, and I'm interested to see what the setups look like. I'm looking at the active rosters, and I don't see any subs coming in from either side. I think I'm accurate. I think that's correct.
Yes, these are the same teams that we had last map on Sand. Gonna duke out again on Shipyard. See which team can come out on top here. Arrow 404 up one map. Feeling pretty good about themselves, but can Ember knock them down a peg here and bring this to a 1-1?
Yeah, they have to face the challenge they're presented with now. They chose Sand. That was their map pick, a map that they felt they were comfortable on and could beat Error 404 on. And for them to take it and now to go onto a map that Error 404 is comfortable on, it takes a lot it's going to take a lot from the Ember team to take this map and ultimately defend the series. They need to lock this in for that map 3 decider, which we've been seeing a lot of lately, so I'm not going to count Ember out. Ember looked really good in the start of Sand, but then had a bit of an issue getting points back on the board. And so maybe if they can come out the gate strong here on Shipyard, we'll see a similar result that they can then maybe tweak into their favor, where they'll come out on top. Ultimately, they managed to take it to 3-3 on map 1, so you can't fault either team for putting up a good effort, but still going to be fun to see how Shipyard hashes out. And this map is just a blast to watch. I really do enjoy it. The range that it offers, the variety of positions, and again, that aggression. With a couple of these different objectives, there's fights that happen in the first 30 seconds, and then some that don't happen for a while. In this case, it's going to be a little bit of time before some shots come out. Maybe a long-range angle will be picked up here, but with our first objective of the day on the far east corner, we're going to kick Shipyard off with a little bit of range.
A little bit of range indeed. There's a lot of these second story positions for people to take. Some even higher ones on the boat, and we often see at least one player taking it. But from the team Ember here, we're not actually seeing any of that. A little, Switch pushing up in the blue room area. Soju going up top there. Quokka getting very, very aggressive. Coming around the corner here. Runs into the entire team. And he dies twice for his troubles.
Yeah, he suddenly becoming very aware of where this team was. And really just a free kill laid up to the likes of Error 404. They were ready for it, waiting for it on the corner. And again, from my eyes, from what I'm seeing, that looked like a perfect read on the Ember defense. It looked like they were ready for the aggression. They knew Ember was going to go for it, and they just shut it down.
They were definitely ready for it there. They were just stacked up on the corner waiting for that peek. Everybody in range, and Goga not even enough time to say, hey guys, I think I know where they are, before they all shot him in sequence. Nice pickup from Switch, able to get it down onto Not Void there as the is just falling down there on the ground next to Quokka's body. It'll be a tough revive.
Yeah, we got to wonder if that's just from what we're seeing. Yeah, maybe Icy can get it up there on the roof from what he's seeing. So who knows what's really the truth of the matter right now. And yeah, the res comes in. So the body not actually down on that bottom level, and the res able to get picked up. So no harm to the Error 404 offense.
Really works out for them because, again, some of these really tight positions. Switch able to pick up Badger. Error 404 down 1. Ember also down 1, bringing this to a 4-4, and some utility being thrown, frag thrown out from the likes of Icy or Not Void. Not able to get anyone, just a little bit short there, and Switch really tucked in that corner, waiting for that push. Is going to be a hard sell for any kind of utility. You really have to get it in there good to catch them there.
I love that switch position. I've seen it taken up a couple of times now, and it is super effective. You've got the nice little cover from the box, so it's a good little head peek, very limited exposure. He can swing out like this and look for pickups. Cobra tags him once, but doesn't get the confirm, and information that Switch then relays. So Switch going to continue to hunt for picks and info on this bottom end, and really this one position has forced 3 people on the Error 404 offense to draw their attention here. Icy's looking for the pick, Void's dialed in, and Cobra's now stalled, and so the rest of Ember's defense can just look for picks. And oh wow, Soju's toe was peeking through the floor.
Able to get that down, but actually didn't get the confirm. He probably thinks Soju's down there, but he's not. And now he's just going to have to watch for Switch, who gets taken out by Cobra on the long shot all the way from the center building there. Hailfire picking up Icy as he tries to approach to get that confirm, and ultimately Ember down to the 1, and Error 404 with 3 players up in a good position to push towards the objective. Hailfire going to have to do a lot to defend this one, and really it's going to be tough for him to push out with ST Cup up on this rooftop area in the northeast on the ship. And with some smokes coming in, he's going to have to make a hard choice. Will he move in, rotate to cover the front of the objective, or is he going to hold and try and call their bluff?
I think he's got coverage. Right from where he is, I think he's got coverage. I think nobody can get to objective unless they pass this line. And so he's rightfully worried about the ship, because I think that's the one true threat. Void dies to fall damage. So Void's down now, and it's a 2v1. Cup's looking for the opportunity. He can't get the angle. Hailfire is just dumping rounds onto Cobra. Minute 50 left.
Yeah, a good move from Hailfire, making sure no one pushed through that smoke that he couldn't see, using that PKM to his full advantage there. Nearly getting picked up by Cobra, and ST Cup coming around the corner here is going to put a big challenge on him, and the trade comes out. Arrow 4-4 pick up the first point.
And a good offensive round coming in from Error 404 to get them that W. Some good pickups, good reses, but ultimately an unfortunate bit of circumstance too. Soju going down to getting picked up from his foot, exposing through the bottom. I mean, you know, a clipping issue that you hate to see, but can happen from time to time in the world of Onward kinematics. And so when those do happen, it's not out of the rules to take that shot, right? If you see somebody clipping through a wall, you can kill the person that's clipping through the wall. It is a perfectly legal kill to happen. It's frowned upon, but when you're at this level, you got to take what you can get. You got to get the kills that are presented to you, and I blame nobody for taking those shots onto the toe there and getting that kill onto Soju, because hey, it happens in the game sometimes. If you're not careful, your body's kinematics will clip you through some weird places.
That's definitely right. You have to be aware of all times. I mean, just moving up against the corner, crouched, your back can stick through the wall. So it's just always a thought you have to have in your mind. What's my body doing? It's kind of a weird question. But you know, in VR, it's a little tough. You have your head unit on your head that these players are seeing through. You've got your hands, your 2 controllers, but that's it. You don't like have hip trackers. You don't have leg trackers. You know, not yet anyway.
We gotta get maybe Deco Move involved as a sponsor and get those shipped out to all the teams. Let's get some of the
get some of the
yeah, get some hip track in, and I'm curious how that works in Onward. But yeah, the kinematic they don't follow your real body, and so yeah, you have to be just aware of how things work, aware of where your body could be behind you when you go into an awkward position. And again, an unfortunate circumstance that ultimately, I don't know if it really leads to the round going into Error 404's hands, but
Gotta get that blue round.
they do go down, and Error 404 does take the dub. And now Ember on the attack, and a bit of a different style of approach here. Everyone going up on the ship.
The ship is just so powerful, Nightfire. You have so many opportunities to get those picks. You kind of control the flow of the battle there. Switch able to make that quick rotation onto the center building, and they just have the high ground. That said, Icy in the blue room, a very, very powerful position, able to get that first pickup of the round, forcing them to think twice about where they go and where they look.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because Quokka almost has an angle there. He can nearly see Icy, and if they were just waited for this opportunity, maybe the kill could come in, and Quokka can't land the shots over the edge of the ship. You see all his bullets impacting on the side of the wall there, and Icy finds another.
Soju laughing it off right now as everybody tries to peek Icy's position, but Icy again and again comes out on top. We'll have to see Quokka able to land that shot just a little bit off as Icy continues to terrorize this offense. Tight angle shot from Not Void. They're able to catch him behind the boxes there. There's just that thin slice of behind the box in the wall that he's able to get that pickup. Soju pushes up, Quokka coming in not far behind there, trying to come from a different angle, knowing that Icy has just such a good tight line on the ship.
Yeah, and this is the position that they were trying to hold but got picked up from when the foot was clipping through the floor. And so a powerful position that Icy is demonstrating here. He's denied entry from that ship ramp. They flung 2 at him, and he got both. Ultimately, Quokka couldn't find the shots either, and Ember not in a good place right now. They've lost map 1. They are down 1-0 here on map 2. I gotta wonder what they're going to be able to do in a 2v5 situation.
Tough push for Soju as well. He's got like 3 people all dialed. They have his number. They could come around the corner at any time from ST Cup, shot over the top from Cobra, and Not Void again, just in this kind of ambushy spot between the things. Cobra able to pick up Quokka, and then Soju getting them another point. What a wonderful pickup from him.
Yeah, a really nice one-clip transfer from Cobra there to grab the double. Take a look at it on the replay. A solid job from him. And as they're coming in, he just decides to spring up. He's been holding the position for a while and eventually makes the commitment to it. Maybe Void radioed in that there were 2 on the other side of the wall, and that triggers that. But either way, a solid job from Error 404. A great hold from Icy in the 2-story. And they go up 2-0. Charging forward to a series win. I mean, if they can lock in map 2, they've got themselves the series.
I'm telling you though, Nightfire, this is the one. This is the one where we're going to see Ember come right back. Hands out there, fists ready. As this is such a tight objective, it's so hard to defend. It's in these kind of cargo boxes. There's so many angles to get a cap on. I don't know. I think Ember's got a good chance on this one.
Yeah, depending how the defense rolls out too, there's opportunities for some early aggression. Error 404 could dive out here to the bow of the ship and challenge the spawn from Ember over on this side. So curious to see what the ultimate strategy is from the defense, but I've always seen teams challenge the bow. They very rarely leave it to the Error 404 team to take.
Yeah, you just can't. You can't let them have control of the ship. Then they dictate how the battle flows, where they come in, and ultimately just a couple smokes onto objective, and you're in a really, really tight situation that's hard to come back from. So I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever to see Arrow 404 challenge them. And there's some dang good spots for you to defend from. You can come up on top of these stairs here. You can drop down on the boxes just right below it. You can come around the front side to go for a little bit more of an aggressive peek just straight down the line. It's a tough one for both teams, and I expect some blood to be shed right off the start.
Yes, indeed. Arrow 404 spawning out in the back corner. Cobra taking a high ground position on the 2-story, and really no challenge on the bow. They're not going to go for what is ultimately what we could consider bait, truly, because you're going to have to challenge the ramp and challenge the push onto the bow. And wow, really, again, aggression from Ember on defense. It hasn't worked yet from this Ember squad, and I don't even have time to transition into the gameplay scene before they've lost one already. Icy able to get the kill, and Ember now down 1.
A tough one to come back from, that's for sure. Quokka going down so early, not able to get really very much information at all. Just the one player shooting at him is going to be tough for them to deal with. It's not Void in a great position too to just catch any more aggression. We're just gonna have to see what they do, but it almost looks like Hailfire learned his lesson there. He's not going to be pushing out from the boat. He's just going to try and catch anybody that comes on top. And the defenders really do have a good battle line all along the boat, watching all those entrances, a limited amount for sure. And having those players in those kind of back defensive positions, like Rob here at the east side of the ship, a good position to catch anybody that comes down and gets past the first line of defense.
Yeah, a solid hold, and yeah, an interesting setup. I'm also looking at the Error 404 offense, and it was also interestingly laid out. They were all kind of in a line here along that south wall, almost waiting for aggression from Ember. And again, it's the Error 404 team reading this Ember squad. From what I can tell, they are just aware of how Ember wants to play these rounds and are countering it very well at the start. We'll see if they can continue finding that momentum that they need and can continue to get the picks, but that's going to come a little bit later because, to your point, everyone else is pretty tucked in. Everyone else is waiting for the push to come through, almost like a ship kill box, forcing this offense to come up onto this ship.
Definitely going to have to see 3 minutes, 48 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time for Arrow 404 to just probe these defenses, try and catch any of these rotations. For example, Switch moving a little bit aggressively on the backside of the ship, just looking over the top, trying to catch any of those people peeking towards the east side of the ship. Won't catch any yet, but Icy actually moving into position on the top and might be able to get a good pickup onto him if he continues this rotations on the backside or the north side of the ship.
Is he going to look there is the question, because usually you hunt for the picks where he is looking, up on those cargo crates on the 2-story. I don't know if he's going to have the idea to look down onto that bottom story and get that pick. He's also got to worry a little bit about Hailfire here, who's got an easy line onto him, but doesn't look up. There he does.
Unfortunate for Icy, almost made it out of the danger zone. And unfortunate too, he actually had a great line onto the likes of Rob, but didn't look that way, knew he was in a dangerous spot and decided to try and push away. Just not soon enough before Hailfire able to get that pickup on him.
And the push is going to have to come in eventually. You know, they've got 2.5 left. They are working their way up to the ramps on ship, but those ramps are not going to be easy to come up on.
Definitely not. And they're going to have to make this choice. Are they going to go for the res, or are they going to leave Icy to rot? And Hailfire actually pushing up very aggressively, trying to get that confirm, and instead gets his own life taken by Not Void, who was just waiting for some kind of rotation, and it paid off for him in dividends.
Rob finds Cup, though, trying to come up the ramp. That's going to be an easy kill. The res should come through, but it doesn't seem like it is. It doesn't seem like they're going to pick him up on the top of the roof there. He's dropped off. And Void is now running around. I'm not sure looking for what.
Where the fuck are you?
Maybe looking for a syringe.
He thought
Monkey almost just died going
he thought he was on the bottom floor. He jumped down looking for him. Icy's bleeding out. Void doesn't have a lot of time before he gets this res, and maybe Void doesn't see the body up here. I'm not sure. We'll see if he can get the res eventually. Yeah, I think he's gonna be able to scoop up Icy just fine. And so we should be into the 4v3. Scratch that 4v2.
Good pickup from Cobra. Ember's defense here down to 2, and now they don't really have control of the ship. There's no way they can watch all the approaches with just 2, and they're now having to default to being close on objective. Soju and Switch basically right on top of it, having to let them come with a ramp, but Switch with a nice defensive rotation, able to pick up Badger Zombies. He comes down up the blue ramp. Cobra getting a nice pick back onto Switch and gets that confirm, leaving just Soju to defend this objective all by himself.
53 seconds left. Just stay tucked in. You know, force this team that's looking to kill you from these roofs to push. You're fine right here. You're tucked into the crates. Don't look for the kills. You don't need to, Soju. You can use the clock to your advantage.
What a nail biter here. You never know what's going to happen here. Soju going to get picked off. Is he going to have to defend this close-in push? 25 seconds left on the clock. Cobra and Not Void will have to make a move here. Soju coming around the corner here. Ooh, Not Void giving away his position, running through the smoke, though. Soju might not be ready for it. Nearly gets his head taken off there as he tries to just joust with Not Void. Comes around the corner here. So,
the pistol battle!
Oh. When have you seen that? Both players down to the pistol.
What a fantastic finale. They both click on each other and we get the pistol duel that ultimately ends in Error 404 with a W. A crazy way to end it, and exactly how he should. Perfectly played by Soju. Once he took those shots, he stayed tucked in. Everyone then was forced to crash, and it came down to that close quarters on objective brawl that almost gets Ember on the board on Shipyard, but doesn't. Error 404 up 3-0 on their map pick here, and they are danger close to locking in the series.
I just can't move past that pistol duel. That was just so good. Down to the last bit of time left. No time for that reload. Nothing that you could do there. No utility could be used. They just had to pull out those pistols and duke it out like gentlemen on the objective. I mean, can it get better than that? I don't think so.
Crazy way to end that one. It's again not over. We saw the comeback from Error 404. It's it's perfectly within reason to expect Ember to be able to do that. They're a team that can play very consistently at the high level. They are ranked 2 right now. Error 404 is ranked 3, and so they don't want to lose this series. It's going to push them down in the rankings. It's going to put Error 404 maybe up at the top, certainly second, maybe first. I don't know where they ends up going, but either way, this has been an exciting matchup. 3-3 on sand, and now, well, a potential sweep as we do get in to match in series point for Error 404.
We'll have to see what they do. You can see Badger and Icy pushing forward to try and stop the front of the ship here from being taken by the likes of Ember. Ember, though, taking a little bit more of a defensive line there, not going too fast, looking again more for those picks, but we'll have to see if Error 404 is going to push nearly as aggressively as Ember has. Ooh, and nice pickup from Rob, able to get Icy on the roof there. Cobra picking up Soju, though, at the same time frame.
1-for-1 action, and Cobra's going to look for more. Tries to take those shots, can't quite lock in the heady onto Quokka, and he survives. Drops back off, and the 4v4 persists just a little bit longer. And again, just like round 1, very early kills. Both of these teams are hungry for the kills.
I think Ember's in a pretty good spot here. That said, Rob picked up by Cobra on a nice long shot there, but Hailfire is on the ship. He's in a great position to put pressure on these defenders, and with each defender down, I think, you know, like we've talked about, the defender's life is worth a lot more here than the attackers. Let's see what Hailfire does here. He's in a nice kind of almost staring battle with Not Void here if he continues to go to the north here, but Not Void pulling back. Badger Zombie, though, picking up Quokka as he pushes up towards the ramp, just staying pretty under this first white ramp here, waiting for those aggressive pushes to come from Ember.
Yeah, it is really going to come down to Hailfire. A switch could draw the attention. Void's completely distracted. He's dead. Cup is covered in smoke, so he can't get the refrag, and he's going to drop off after experiencing a little bit of shots. And now it's kind of time for Zombie and Cobra to maybe think about shifting and readjusting their position. Cobra able to get switched, that's big. But Hailfire is here, able to present the threat right on. If Cup goes down, it's a cap.
Oh, but Hailfire, I don't think he's going to make it. Badger is watching up the ramp, but then rotates at the wrong moment as Hailfire then makes it into the boxes. He's not on a home run yet. He's still got a little bit ways to go, but a sneaky cap could come from the likes of Hailfire.
I think he just has to kill Cup because he's fine now. Badger is way off objective. Cobra's too far. Cup's gonna peek here and he doesn't see him. Hailfire has objective open. He has to crash. He has to push, but he doesn't know this. He's not aware of the kill count. He doesn't know he's got an open objective, easy and right for the picking for a cap, and he's fortunate that nobody is pushing him now. Badger Zombie could be a threat soon enough, and Hailfire has to get into these crates.
Oh, nice pickup from Hailfire. He now knows. Now's the time. He's going towards objective, coming around the backside. Maximum confusion, but he's so close to objective.
He's not going for it. The pressure is too high. He's going to lose the series if he tries to get this cap and dies. And now as Badger crashes around, he's going to go for the confirm kill. He's feeling comfortable tucked in, and Badger swings wide for an easy pickup. I understand it with the pressure on, but that could have been a cap in so many ways. Of course, that's only what we know, right? We're only privy to that info. It's not, he doesn't know where everyone is, but geez, what a heart-pounding round there if you're an Ember fan, and they do at least get one on the board here.
That's a tough one. I mean, Ember is known that, you know, throughout this series so far, that the aggressive pushes really just haven't worked against Arrow 404. They know that they've been tight on objective when they need to, and I think Hailfire there kind of psyched himself out. He was probably thinking, man, there's probably all over the objective here. I have to go for kills. That's the only way I'm going to win this one. If I go for a cap, I'm just going to get shot, and then we're going to lose the series. And sometimes that's what it comes down to. And I can't fault him for thinking that and going for the more guaranteed win than to risk it all on a cap.
Yeah, it's so hard. The decision making when it comes down to it. I mean, my heart's been racing these last two rounds. I can't imagine being on the field playing the games. You know, when you're actually experiencing it, I'm sure their hearts are pounding too, and that affects your quick on the ground decision making. And yeah, again, I can't fault the guy, you know, for not going for the cap. You just it's a lot to process, and wow, that another crazy end to a round, but not done yet. Shipyard still going on. Ember now defending as we shift to a new objective. I'd argue this is a pretty easy to defend objective too, but what are your thoughts, Mono?
Can't argue with you there. This is a great one to defend on. Ember's going to be in a great position fighting up against the likes of Arrow 4 on this one. You can look under the doors, prone. You can be on the roof, watch back towards this kind of sneaky tunnel entrance in the back here that we can kind of see maybe a flank come out from Soju as he goes down below. But that said, even if they take this round, they're going for a tough one, coming right back on it as Arrow 4 will then be able to defend it. But we're going in hot. SD Cup and Not Void coming in, going for the kind of tunnel entrance here, and they should run into the likes of Soju as they go down there.
Yeah, again, the aggression coming in from Ember. I gotta wonder if it's ever gonna pay off, because it hasn't yet against Error 404. They have shut it down nearly every time. And again, it seems like they're ready for a bit of an aggressive defensive push, but it's not coming out in the way that they're expecting. Soju down here, just waiting in the basement for that kind of crawl to come through. Everyone else up onto their defensive positions. No one really overextending this time, and maybe this is Ember learning from their mistakes and not trying to get over aggressive on defense.
Soji, though, continuing to push up, running through this red area here, and he's actually in a great position to challenge ST Cup and Not Void, especially if he plays his cards close to his chest here, lets them come out. But no, he's going to get aggressive. They're right around the corner here, and ST Cup he's just ready for it and able to get that pickup on the Soju as he comes around the corner.
Yeah, it was no surprise that there was a person here, and there shouldn't have been, because there was plenty of audio cues that were coming in. A lot of footsteps there for Cup to dissect, and Icy able to get rid of Switch on the 2-story really starts to peel away this defensive layer on objective. The rest, Hailfire, Quokka, and Rob just need to form a kill box inside the dang building, but they insist on looking for kills and exposing themselves.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Switch needed to not die there. He was in an ultra critical spot because these players in the tunnel, if they continue to push and come up to the backside of the objective, will have no one to challenge them. And then they'll be behind the objective, and that's what you really, really don't want on defense for this objective. You can't have them in and behind you as you're dealing with these players coming from the front side. So we're going to have to see if Ember is going to send one of their only 3 remaining players to defend the rear, or if they're just going to let it slide and hope no one goes through the tunnels.
Yeah, I think one thing I've noticed that's been maybe a weak point in the Ember defense is just their, I don't know, not over-aggression, but they just have not really ever formed a kill box around objective. They've always been hunting for kills, always been looking for picks early on defense. And Error 404 have just come out on top, simple as that. They've won those challenges. They've gotten those picks on defense, and the adjustment from Ember would be to just finally tuck in, finally force Error 404 to challenge you on objective. But they just haven't really done that yet and continue to challenge around these early corners, resulting in a disadvantage that now they find themselves in again, a 3v5. Maybe they can bounce back here. Again, they've got this objective that I'd argue is pretty easy to defend. And so if they can just tuck in here, I think the opportunity will present itself. I like Rob's position. Quokka inside could do some work, and he does catch out across. So a big pickup for Ember.
They definitely needed that one. They need to even the odds. They need to bring down these attackers to a more manageable level before everyone gets in and close, and they start this kind of knife fight all over the objective. ST Cup actually just coming through the doorway right now, and no one's there to challenge him. This is traditionally a spot where someone on the roof, hear that movement, just looks down and just kills everybody that comes through the door. But that person being dead, they now have free reign over the backside of the objective.
Another pickup coming in from Quokka, and Quokka doing everything he can to even the odds here. Big rotations that are incredibly risky, net him 2. And again, the question is are they going to be ready for this flank? Rob is here, tucked in, so he could get the kill. He could deny, but I don't know if he'll pop up and do it, if he'll hear anything truly. I gotta wonder, is there, yeah, there is some rooftop angles for Cup to take advantage of here. So if he gets up onto the 2-story, I don't think Quokka's even checked once on this roof. This is gonna do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they are in for a tough one. Badger getting a nice trade with Hailfire. Badger still resable, but not for long as Quokka able to finish that one up. But SD Cup, man, he's in position to just pick off these defenders, just run around these like kind of skylights and just continue to get picks. Pick them off, and there's just not much you can do as a defender. You can't lose the roof on these objectives. They're so critical, and even with a little bit amount of time left, I think Ember's in for a rough one.
There's the indicator that they've come in from the backside, and that's enough for Quokka to react. A great shot from him evens the odds, and Cup, like you said, has this roof, but if Quokka keeps moving around, keeps being tough to sort of pin down, the clock's going to eventually force Cup to make a play.
Yeah, SD Cup just a little bit off on that offense, but just coming in sneaky will work out for him. And Arrow 404 will pick up another point to win this map and take the series.
A solid job from this Error 404 team, and frankly, they just came in and played very well. It wasn't really any team not doing good. It was simply Error 404 winning trades and getting kills they needed that ultimately put them into positions where they could then attack and effectively get W's. Sand came down to a 3-3. It was incredibly close, but with 4-1 locked in here on Shipyard, Error 404 will be the benefactors of the MMR here. They will go up in rank. Ember will go down. We always play out the third map just to see how much the teams will go up and down in the ranks, as all of these points do matter. If you aren't familiar with how things work in the ladder and how the ranking system works, I'd say okay, but the gist of it is that every round that is secured does matter, and ultimately, if Ember can win this third map, they will go down in rank less. They will suffer less from their loss. And in some cases, hypotheticals, you could say, if Ember did get this W and there was a big enough gap between them and Error 404, they could potentially even avoid going down in rank. And so it does matter to battle back and continue to stay in the series, even if you've already won it or already lost it. And as we go to Suburbia for map 3, Ember's map pick, I'm curious how this is going to shake up, because Sand Shipyard, close quarters, fast action. I anticipate we're going to see some very early mid lane battles on Suburbia, especially since the map's already started. No time wasted here, Mono.
Absolutely not. And this is a map that can definitely get chaotic fast. And I know both of these teams are pretty fond of this map, so I'm really excited to see who comes out on top. And I think Ember has a great chance to come back on this one. This is a map that we've seen them do really well on, so let's just see what happens as the round is already starting to unfold here. Players are moving out. Hailfire already throwing rounds down range. Soju getting a pickup on not Void. And Rob continuing to push up the center here, see what he can do.
Yeah, they're just going to send it, full send as a team, is what it looks like to me, at least. Already all pushed up. Badger finds one. Soju goes down to Cobra, and Error 404 are dropping quick. They're finding refrags, though, and it is a 2v3, so not necessarily out of the woods just yet. The res comes through as well, so maybe even a 3v3. The trade there on White Car, the rotation on the backside, shots missed from Icy, and he's going to dip back to objective, recognizing that he's one of 2 defenders left. Chaos.
Aggressive rotation from Icy there. Coming around back through the backside, able to pick up Rob there as he regrouped and thought about his options. SD Cup staying faithful, watching objective. Icy will continue to just rotate through the back north side and just catch anybody doing any of these rotations. And with 1 player left in Hailfire, it's going to be a tough one for Ember to come back on this round. But with 2 players, anything could happen.
4:25 on the clock, a lot of time left to work with, and Hailfire assessing his options, trying to gain any information he can there. Checking out the 2-story window, dipping back to carport, and looking through the playground just to verify nobody's hunting for him. And then maybe he can make a pick. I think the swing. The rotation here along the east is a good one. Maybe presents some side profiles of the defense that he could take some shots at, but I don't know if that's going to be the case considering Icy's dialed in here.
It is one of the most common rotations late round from the offense, especially with 1 player down, getting around the backside so powerful. And Icy, just like that, had the beat on that, able to get that pickup and give Error 404 the first point on map 3.
Solid job there from Error 404, and ultimately, they now have another lead. It's tough if you're the likes of Ember, because momentum is a lot in this game, and if you don't have it, it's hard to regain it. And I think they lost it on sand. To lose 3-3 when you've had that 2-0 lead. I mean, that's a tough loss. That is a moral blow. And then again, to have to go onto a map you're maybe not comfortable with and battle there. It's just more of a moral, it is a lot to compete with emotionally at the high level. And so I usually, Ember is a team that's been around for a while and is a team that can battle back. We saw it on sand where they kept it close. I don't want to count them out here on Suburbia simply because it's the 3rd map. And so I think that we should see some good rounds here break out from Ember. I don't think Error 404 is going to have an easy Suburbia get thrown to them, but I could be wrong. Error 404 are playing very good right now, and it's going to take a pretty good Ember team to shut them down.
definitely the case. I mean, half the game is mental. These players having to do so much work together, deal with each other, but shots already ringing out. A little bit of pre-fire through the bushes here, trying to catch any of those players moving up aggressively, but Hailfire will be able to make it all the way down lane 1 as he desires to do so. SD Cup, meanwhile, on the backside, in a gunfight with Soju there in the center kind of playground area, and Soju's in the center. Cobra get that pickup onto Quokka.
Yes, I did it.
Just so much happening so quickly, Nightfire. It's just hard to follow.
A lot of action unfolding as you would expect. Both teams really just going for the throat now on this final map, and that does result in the chaotic, quick action. The push coming in now, potentially on that east side, identified by Switch, and is going to need some smokes to fully cover it, but those are not going to do it justice.
Smokes all over. Switch able to get a nice pickup in the ICST Cup, looking to get a refrag there, but having to deal with the likes of Robin, and gets it in a nice sharp shot across the lanes there. Will he be able to take on Switch though? That's a hard question.
No. Question answered. Down he goes on the res, and ultimately going for the res costs him his life. Turns things down into a 2v2 as Hailfire gets dropped by a good rotation there from Cobra. And I think Switch, I wonder if they're going to go for the res here. Maybe Soju will push out and Switch will shift to a different position.
They really need this res. They need to bring this back. And that said, Soju getting that revive at Hailfire at the exact same time just brings this from a 2v2 to a 3v3. Switch nearly gets his head cut off as he tries to rotate back onto his porch, and instead is going to have to pull back, find a new defensive position, and just, you know, have to worry about them coming around the backside and getting control of the north. That's something you always have to worry about when you're defending any of these northern objectives.
Eyes on Hailfire on a crazy swing. Catches one at bus. Cup doesn't even know that an enemy's shooting behind him, because why the heck would an enemy be shooting behind him? And so he doesn't rotate around to take those refrag shots, and it is a 2v2 now, and Cup's got to be wondering what the heck's going on. Where is my enemy? To can't quite find him. Hailfire with another, and now Void into the 1v2.
You could kind of see Hailfire as he comes around the corner, just kind of like this double take. He's like, oh, gotta swing around and get me another pick. Oh, yeah.
Utility getting dumped out there. Oh, and a little bit of a pick exposing itself. Void finding an opportunity, a gifted kill right in front of his eyes. Switch popping out looking for that frag, can't quite get it, and he's going to duck back into some cover with 3 minutes left on the round. We know 1v1.
I kind of think the kill counts off. Switch is definitely checking all these angles, worrying about a player coming around and flanking on the north side, but that won't be happening. As It's Not Void is the last member up of Arrow 4-4, and both of these players are going to have to wonder just what the real kill count is, and having to deal with what that entails with different players coming around the flank, and Switch actually coming around here just narrowly missing Not Void, as It's Not Void has pushed around, able to get kind of a nice location where he can catch Switch back on the back rotation back towards objective. He's in a good place here. We'll have to see what happens here. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think Switch is expecting this. I can't imagine why you would. Oh, well, now he knows. Void's pushed up into the corner full sprint, and so yep, we are Switch very aware of Void. Void had to have heard those footsteps on the peak too, and so we're into this really weird 1v1 on a corner. Oh. A trade's a trade, but ultimately Ember come out on top, lock in their Marsoc round, and tie this thing up one apiece. Like I said, Ember's not gonna let this one go lightly. They're a team that can weather a mental storm, and I think that's what they could very well be on the route to do here for map 3, tying things up. Now they switch to a new objective. Just got to lock in a Marsoc round, and they've got the momentum in their favor. And with a center house objective, which is where we'll be headed next, this is certainly one that can happen on.
You are not wrong. This is one of the most crazy objectives, I think, in all of Onward. This is just one of those objectives where so much things can happen all at once. We see some good utility and frags thrown through the window. We see some aggressive pushes up the stairs. You know, I'm so excited for these rounds. This is the one that I love to watch as a spectator, as a caster in Suburbia.
Yeah. This series has been a blast to tune into. I'm hoping you all are enjoying it as well on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and venues. We do appreciate everyone tuning in here today and hanging out. Appreciate all the new follows, all the new subs, all the support that has been shown to the VRML and our cast. We do greatly appreciate it. Whoops! C4 gets tossed out in the first 30 seconds.
Everybody's dead.
I almost didn't even cut to it in time.
What do you say about that? The C4 throw just obliterating the offense, but just making them stop their aggression and have to hold out in the kill zone.
I'm not going to the scoreboard scene anymore. These rounds are just happening so fast. I'm going to stay here for the action. I think it was. I think I heard someone say early C4, but if C4 can be tossed at 15, right, or is it 18? No, you can. There's no such thing as an. When can a C4 be there's a detonation rule. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the rule.
The explosive ordnance has to. I believe it's 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then like flashes are like 12 or something.
Okay.
Definitely not my area of expertise, as you can tell. But we'll just have to see how these teams choose to handle the situation. It's a tough one.
Yeah, not for us to handle, but from my understanding, if it is 15 seconds, it was perfectly timed. Literally deployed at the 45-second mark at 5:45. So, really a well, I don't even know what to say. That round just, yeah, C4 detonates and everything crumbles from there. They tried to go for the direct central push up through the back, and it did not work. And now Error 404 have the lead on this second round. I wonder what's going on. I'm sure they're deliberating what happened there, but again, nothing out of the ordinary from what I could tell. Really just a perfectly tossed C4 that shuts down a push on the backside of the objective.
Jump Rough Riders.
Soju's captain. Boys, let's do it. Oh. Door.
Wow, Hailfire gets his kill, spray through the bushes, locks in another for Ember, and like I said, I think we're going to continue to trade rounds here. Ember now have this distinct advantage. Cobra tries to even the odds, getting down switch. Badger takes rid of the east approach. And Soju's here. Got the eyes on him, waiting to see if he's going to peek, but the rest of his team is just dying around him. Couple of the great shots getting thread through here from the likes of
Ember down to one. Quokka's resible, but not really in a position to get picked up there, but will be able to give good intel to his team. Icy and Badger continue their push, moving a little bit slower here, knowing they have all the time in the world to just try and get these picks. Maybe catch Rob peeking through the window, and shots ringing out from Icy. Not able to quite get that pick up there, but will be able to give some information. Let Badger know just from that fire that, hey, someone's probably up in this window, as he continues to push from the front of this house. And Rob just having to watch through for that movement. Ooh, Badger coming up the stairs, able to get that pick up, giving Arrow 404 another point on the board.
And this is really just Error 404 running away with it here. Map 3 going into their hands. The chaotic C4 round that gets them the 2-1 lead. Now 3-1 here on map number 3. And yeah, not looking good for Ember. Momentum out of their hands entirely. And Error 404 on the cusp of locking in a third map. Hey, this team has really done a lot this season. They have been winning. They haven't lost. They're undefeated. Ember's only lost one game, and it was against Kai early in the season. And so Ember's not exactly a slouch. They haven't been losing either, but Error 404, ever since they've managed to take away that 3-3 victory on Sand, have maintained the momentum in their favor and have continued to work with it to now get them into position to potentially lock in map number 3. We'll see if it is going to be ultimately map 3 in their hands or if Ember can bounce back or not, but still just a solid performance from Error 404 that has gotten them here. I don't even think it's something that is to blame on Ember's end. I just think it's Error 404 playing well.
Error 404 has done very, very well for themselves. It's actually kind of funny to say this, but historically, having not dropped a game yet, they're just playing real hot, and they're not dropping anything. They're not letting go of anything. And what I think is really commendable from them is that they don't let their wins get to their head. They're playing to win, and that means staying humble, knowing you don't know everything, even if you're the hot shot on the block. But they just continue to play their game so well, learn from their mistakes, learn from the other teams, and just take the best part of every single style of attack and defense that they've seen in the league. I know for a fact they do a lot of watching of VRML games and get a lot of information of these teams, and just doing so well for themselves so far. But I mean, Ember, like you said, have done really well as well, just putting huge points on the board in past games.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, this last map's been weird, but I guess what happened was the early quote-unquote C4 was determined to be early by the players in lobby, and so that round was given to Ember by Error 404. Now we are technically tied 2-2, and Error 404 are on the defense. So that's what's happened with the scoreline. If you're wondering if you went to Crazy Town or not, you did not. Things did get changed, and we'll see if it's enough to get Ember leverage to ultimately get this win, or if Error 404 are gonna continue to put rounds on the board.
Definitely the case here. These teams are fighting for all they've got here. Good pickup early in the round from Cobra. Icy getting a nice pickup onto Hailfire there, and these teams, or Ember really, having to move a little bit slower and rethink their attack plan, go a little bit more cautiously on this approach. And they have a pretty good approach. They have control of the eastern side of the map, playground control. They will be able to do a rotation onto the south wall if they so desire. They just have to deal with the likes of Not Void and Icy, and actually ST Cup all near center house, watching back towards objective. But some good utility could make a huge difference here. A smoke cross could put a huge strain on the defense of Error 404, as so many players are pushed off objective on the other side from objective in the spawn house.
They are a little out of sync, though. Ember has Rob and Soju here, but look at the third. If you look at the overhead, way over there on the east side of the map, so not really even here challenging with the rest of the team. Maybe that's going to be part of the plan. Maybe eventually Quokka will push in.
Soju, sorry to interrupt, but Soju coming around the corner here, able to get the ST Cup as he was just so quiet. ST had no idea he was coming around. Some utility coming out the window from Icy, trying to get that pickup, but just going a little bit too far. Shots ringing out from Icy, just trying to shoot through the bushes here, not quite aware that Soju is actually right below him.
Rob was looking for a pick there onto Void. Void detonates a C4. That catches out Rob.
I am the C4 god. Do not fuck with
Soju now the last attacker. Well, not actually, as Quokka's still there, still has a presence on the other side of the map. Gets Badger looking for a pick. The nade, I think, gets tossed out there, and it gets Quokka. The after-death nade catches him.
The Reaper gets his toll.
Wow. I'm sure
This
that's
kind of shuffle in the center house here is quite the nail biter. Is Soju just hearing this movement, the talking from Icy and not Void, having to choose to make his move here. Not even sure if Badger is probably down. There was no time for communications from the like of Quokka. So Soju has a lot on his mind here as he mulls if he should come around this corner here, go aggressive on these defenders in the center house.
God, I don't think he's hearing Void crawling around. He could hear the pillaging there, and as he swings, he does catch Void with the nade in hand. And then ultimately a smoke deploys in his favor, blinding the vision here on the bottom of the stairs. So really a pretty good play for Soju as he swings around to maybe look for the res on the Quokka.
This is looking good for Ember here. Quokka will be able to give that intel of what Icy is doing, giving Soju every opportunity to get in behind the tank and get that revive. And if he's able to do that, if he's able to make that cross, Ember will be in an excellent place in this round. Oh, but Quokka can't actually see because the tank is perfectly in his way.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can hear him communicating. Quokka's trying to give Soju comms.
It's so fun listening to how these players communicate. So much on the line here. Soju makes the cross, the quick run there, able to get Quokka. They are now in a position to move towards objective. They just have to worry about Icy in the window here. Icy getting a nice pickup onto Quokka as Soju now, last one yet again, quickly after that revive, mind you, will now have to deal with Icy. But at least he knows exactly where Icy is here and has the initiative, the ability to choose where the battle is fought on his side.
Yeah. He doesn't know oh yeah, there he should spot Icy. They both see each other, and Icy comes out on top. Soju can't hit the target, a tiny little head peek, and Icy just clearing his gun over the ledge there by turning the gun sideways to clear the barrel over the ledge, really minimizing exposure and ultimately getting another round into the hands of Error 404. They're up 3-2, and they're looking at map 3 into their hands.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Ember does here, but a good objective, I'd say, to defend from. Very defensible as long as you stop them from crossing the street. And I mean, having that middle house control can make all the difference. And we saw that in Error 404's play, able to really shut down that offense from Ember, even with an excellent rotation from Quokka, nearly getting in and behind the objective, but just not quite able to pull it off with Icy watching across.
Yeah, a solid hold really from Icy to stay disciplined there. If there was any utility on the belts, well, a smoke, it gets him a cap. A smoke gets him a cap. Icy doesn't have coverage of behind objective there. So all they have to do is dive in, which is what he was trying to do. He was trying to dive into that back lane so that he could get behind building, but even then, the dive wasn't a full sprint, right? He was still peeking he was still looking at the window to look for Icy, and then he dies. And so, ultimately, again, a solid hold and not enough in the tank for Ember to get that one. Maybe they can tie it up and push us to a 3-3. They do go on the defensive on this objective, which I would argue is the most defensible objective on Suburbia.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. There's just so many good positions to defend from. You're not want for choices here. And, knowing Ember, I'm expecting a little bit more of a pushed up defense here. Maybe Hailfire peeking lane 1 right off the start, try and catch any of those rotations coming in. But Not enough time for that as Switch able to get a nice pickup on a ST Cup.
Yes, indeed. The counter nade comes in, but it's a bit late. Able to tuck back in, avoid that doing any damage. Hailfire's got himself a nice little cheeky position behind the crates here, and so he'll be a threat soon enough. A trade goes on, and there's the confirm. I see now has to challenge this corner, and Arrow 404 not looking exactly in the best of positions, with everyone pretty spread out and very little information gained.
Badgers almost pushing up lane 1. Hailfire just round the corner here. Just been waiting this whole game for this opportunity to get this quick pick and be in a great position to go from there. Maybe go for a flank that we've known and loved to see Hailfire do.
Oh, the knife.
Does he go for the knife? And he gets it. The knife onto Badger Zombie as he comes around the corner. And now Hailfire is in a good position just to actually stay where he is. No one knows because of the knife.
Delta 2, slide.
Yeah, an Error 404 just got picked apart there. I think they went into this round feeling a little bit overconfident, maybe. They did well on earlier rounds. They shut down Ember entirely. They made it look like Ember wasn't even trying in some of those rounds, but that wasn't the case. The early C4 gets them that one awkward dub, and since then, Ember has managed to get momentum back into their side, tied things up 3 apiece, and maybe they can get a map out from underneath the claws of Error 404.
Definitely an opportunity here with the 3-3 scoreline. So much MMR on the line for both of these teams. Just being able to pick up that third map win could mean, you know, an extra cool couple MMR points going your way, each one meaning so much when it comes to the rankings. And Ember trying to just plug the gap, minimize the loss as much as possible. And this one is a good one, I'd say. This objective for Ember, very capable on the red car, plenty of opportunities for a smoking cap or just a rotation and kill, because they really don't need that cap. All they got to do is kill all of Arrow 404 here, and you know, they have to worry about that cap, and Arrow 404 does not. Or, well, actually, the other way around. Almost got it. Almost got it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, 6 minutes, the final 6 minutes of this series. It all comes down to this for map 3. It's been an interesting map, and certainly one that I know Ember want to lock in. They've been battling for it, that is to say the least. Look at this, a bit of an aggressive defensive rollout here. Might net some early picks for Error 404. They're trying to throw the Ember defensive style at Ember, and it's worked. One pick coming in. Icy's going to throw some flashes up and over and hunt for more.
Yeah, he's hungry. That's for sure.
Oh, we got to keep our eyes split, Mono. Another push coming in. Quokka and Switch managing to cross. Cup catches him out. Switch should be looking for the refrag, but the tablet comes out instead, and Cup gets a double.
You're probably feeling pretty good right now if you're Cup, that's for sure.
There's an interesting flank. A wide one from Icy. It doesn't go undetected. Soju ready for that. Finds the kill, and now we're into a 2v3. I'm trying to figure out where the third is. I see 2. Oh, over here. Cobra at the white car.
He's in a good position to catch any of those quick movements towards the objective there. Hailfire, though, coming around the backside, will be able to challenge Cobra, but Cobra coming out on top. A nice sharp shot from him, able to take out Hailfire, and leaving just Soju to try and take on these 3 Arrow 404 members. A lot of time on the clock, but also 3 members to deal with. That's a lot.
They're pretty spread out, though, and he has information on one, so he should be able to act accordingly here. I mean, you really can assume he's at white car. It's a common defensive position. He heard the shots. He should be ready for it, and so Cobra, I think, is first up on the hit list. It's just a matter of executing and getting that first kill. Then he's going to force some rotations. Maybe he can get Void and then Cup, and so we'll see if Soju's able to be the hero that Ember needs and gets this map, or if it's going to go into the hands of Error 404 for the full series sweep.
Can't disagree with you there. Soju just sneaking up, trying to get in a position to challenge Cobra, who nearly got him with a nade, mind you. So definitely he is aware that Soju is probably somewhere nearby. This cheeky peek from Cobra under the car there. Oh, but Soju, such sharp eyes there, able to catch Cobra as he tried to get him under the car and just shuts that down immediately.
A really great read from him to get that pickup and then shifts off of it. And so I don't know if the shift's the right idea. Cup should hear these footsteps. And maybe silence is the option here. He can go full quiet. He doesn't need to rush this. He can take his sweet time and potentially find some gaps in the cover. I mean, there's only 2 here, so he definitely can find gaps. Just a matter of if he can work up through and get the picks he needs to be on top of objective.
Definitely could go a lot of different ways here. ST in such a great position, watching back towards objective, forcing Soju to expose his entire back to the rest of the lane there, where It's Not Void might be able to get a good pickup. So a lot of risk in a map like Suburbia on these last like 1v, 2s or 3 situations.
I don't know if Soju's going to check that tight corner there. I mean, wow, he's just barely missing Cup, and Cup decides to take the initiative and go for the peak. Finds the kill. Error 404 lock in map 3 and the series and continue their climb up the ladder. A solid debut here from them, and they remain undefeated. This Error 404 team is tough to put a loss on.
You can say that again. They've been doing so well for themselves. Excellently played between both of these teams, but I think as we kind of alluded to earlier in the series, Error 404 just does such a great job of adapting to whatever team they're facing against. They knew what Ember was doing, they saw it coming, and they just shut it down. They waited for Quokka to make those pushes, they waited for Hailfire to also make pushes or go for kind of like an ambush position, and just shut them down.
Yeah.
And that I think ultimately gave them the win, as they were then able to push onto the objective with a 1-up or 2-up versus the defenders who now have to scramble and defend with a lower amount of players. It just really, really adds up exponentially when you're trying to defend an objective and you can't watch all the angles at once.
Yeah. A fantastic series, and one that I'm glad that we tuned into, Mono. Ember, Error 404. Ultimately, the victor is Error 404. But you look at that scoreline, and it was kept pretty close. So Ember should suffer a very minimal drop in rank and should be ultimately challenging this Error 404 team soon enough. Quick shout out to everyone that was tuning in today, again on Venues, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all of the platforms that were live. We do appreciate you greatly. Also, a shout out to all of our sponsors. If you're not aware, ProTube VR offers a great mount/stock system that can help stabilize your aim in-game. Cyber Shoes offer a great additional means of immersion by adding foot movement into the game to simulate real-life walking. B Haptics adds the full vest and full body feedback to feel the bullets and the impact. VR Cover offers a great comfortable cover for the face mask. VR Wear offering great clothes to wear under all of your peripherals, and Fixed Gaming giving you some good audio and music that we love and hear. Also, obviously, HyperX delivering you with the high quality mic that you're hearing here. The HyperX Quadcast RGB, highly recommend it. I mean, frankly, this couldn't be a better demo of it. This is my voice coming through a HyperX product. Also, the headphones, great products. And ultimately, all of these sponsors coming together to offer up prizes for our champions at the end of the season. And so there is something on the line for these teams that are competing for a top 8 position to go to that championship. And it's what ultimately Error 404 is hunting for. That Season 11 title. And maybe they'll get it with how they've been playing. Who knows? It's certainly a toss-up, and I'm sure Mono doesn't like to hear that being on Mayhem. who is a team that will be competing up against them in the near future again, I'm sure. And so either way, a great set of rounds here from Error 404, ultimately keeping them undefeated, and a great series to showcase to venues. I couldn't be happier, Mono.
Me too. This has been such a great one to watch. I love seeing these teams kind of play a little chess game between each other, trying to counter each other's movements. But ultimately, a great series between these two teams, and we will see them again in the finals, if not sooner.
Certainly will. Thank you, everyone, again for tuning in. That'll be it from us here on the desk. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster Monarchid. We'll see you all next week with more VRML Season 11 action. Don't miss out on it. Follow here on twitch.tv/VRMasterLeague for the weekend matchups that get broadcast to venues, and also follow Onward_VRML. Until next time, we will see you later.